Thank you for joining this session on Writing for Everyone. Over the next 15 minutes, we'll discuss how considering UX writing throughout development can boost the accessibility of all kinds of features. One of the greatest benefits of UX writing is that it's cost-free to implement, and it works whether you're part of a massive studio or a small indie team. After this talk, resources to help you get started on your journey will be available in the GAconf Discord channel. About me. I have 12 years of experience working in the games industry. I've worked in many areas spanning the game development cycle, including QA, UI UX, production, and accessibility. During my time as part of the UI UX team, I became interested in UX writing and how it can improve accessibility. This inspired me to become formally trained as a UX writer. Currently, I'm supporting companies on their accessibility journey. What this presentation will cover: why you should consider UX writing as part of your game development, how creating style guides can help ensure consistency and clarity, information on style guides and what they should include, and considerations when writing in-game text. What is UX writing? User experience, or UX writing, helps users navigate interfaces, understand functionalities, and complete tasks with minimal friction. This role is often seen within tech companies that work on digital products. The goal of UX writing is to create clear, concise, and user-friendly content that enhances the user's experience in digital products. In gaming, UX writing will be seen in the game's user interface, or UI, menus, and error messages. This includes help and objective text, tutorial and instructions, and settings descriptions. UX writing differs from copywriting. Narrative text that is linked to the game storyline or story content is not considered part of UX writing guidelines, and this will be seen more in the space of copywriting. Content that would fall into this category could be letters or messages between characters, character logs, character descriptions, and location descriptions. Why UX writing is important in gaming. UX writing ensures players can easily understand the game's mechanics, objectives, and controls, making their experience smooth and frustration-free. Clear and concise tutorial text allows players to get started quickly, accelerating the onboard process. It helps maintain player immersion by reducing the need to interpret complex or lengthy text during gameplay. Consistency in language and tone strengthens the connection between the game and its marketing materials. An effective UX writing reduces cognitive load, enabling players to focus entirely on enjoying the game. Who's this talk for? Creating consistency across your game requires collaboration. Collaboration will depend on your company's structure. Designers. Collaboration between your narrative writers, content designers, and UI UX teams is important to ensure that everyone is happy with the terms being used in-game. Localization. Remember your localization buddies. Get the localization teams involved early on. When writing content, are you constricted by character limits or word counts? If so, this could be a larger issue in certain languages. QA. When testing, ensure that your QA team is checking the content against the style guides. Even simple spelling mistakes should still be fixed, as they can be distractive for the player and break the game's immersion. And marketing. Work with your marketing team to ensure consistency is being met outside of the game. This includes website information, trailers, game deep dives, and social media content. Thinking about the player. Clear text can be important to players who are dyslexic, have a lower reading age, are new to gaming, or are playing in a non-native language. But really, good UX writing is beneficial for all players. Statistics state that 43% of the US population has low literacy. So, to help with this, we should be writing at a 7th to 9th grade level. Age-wise, you're looking at 12 to 14 years old. This is recommended by companies including the Nielsen Normal Group and Microsoft. This should be considered even if your game is aimed for an older audience. The Hemingway editor is a great free resource to check your content's reading age and readability. Avoid using idioms, as they can be hard for some players to process and difficult to localize. Writing style guides. What are writing style guides? Writing style guides are a set of rules and conventions that determine how written content should be structured, formatted, and presented. They ensure consistency in tone, terminology, and formatting across the game and marketing material. Style guides should be utilised by everyone working on the game, not just the writers. So this includes your QA teams, your developers, marketing, and localization teams. Creating writing style guides. Style guides should be a collaborative, living document that is updated during the game's life. Style guide users should be made aware of any updates. Style guides can also be beneficial for other features in the game, including captions, subtitles, alt text, audio descriptions. If your game features obscure terminology, consider including a glossary on the website or in-game help area so players can review these terms whenever they wish. And don't forget that developer tools should also be accessible. Ensure that your style guides work with screen readers. Writing style guide content. So content to include within your style guide would be languages. Consider, are you using British English or American English standards, for example? Punctuation, are you using Oxford commas? Or are you only using exclamation marks for error messages? Tone and voice. Tone, are you creating a charming, cutesy game? If so, then the tone will differ from a gory horror game. And voice, for example, are you instructing the player or the in-game character? Common misspellings or potential mistakes. Have you received queries on how to spell a certain word? Or have you noticed mismatched spellings in the game's documents? If so, it's worth adding to the style guide to highlight that this could be a potential issue. Words or terms to avoid. There may be words or terms that you wish to avoid. This could be for copyright and legal reasons, or it might just be outdated terms that no longer fits with your game. In-game terminology. How are you referring to currency, health, special items and characters? Platform-specific words. So these are the terms used by Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo to ensure consistency across their products. And how to discuss disabilities and social situations. The National Centre on Disability Journalism and the Inclusion London website are great resources to check if you're unsure about how to discuss player requirements and disabilities. For social and political style guides, BBC Writing and the BuzzFeed style guides have great resources. Links to these will be shared after the talk. UX writing considerations. Text formatting. Ensure text is short and clear. Break up long sections of text so it can be easily read. Use correct headings and avoid using unestablished abbreviations. If they are used, make sure the full terminology is used first. Terminology. There are a few points to consider when defining your game's terminology. Is the term being considered still appropriate? Language changes. I'm sure we can all think of words that perhaps older generations, like our grandparents, may use that we wouldn't use today. Is the term offensive? Could the term upset the player? Remember that you're addressing the player directly, even if you think wording might be cheeky or suit the in-game world. We really don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. Gaming should be fun and is often seen as escapism. By upsetting the player, you may risk their experience and immersion. Does the terminology match all areas of your product? This includes the game's website, social media, trailers, and alt text. Does the terminology match Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo's terminology guidelines? Each first-party platform will have their own guidelines that they will want you to follow to ensure consistency across their products. Objective and help text. Limit how much objective and help text is on screen at once. You want to avoid overwhelming the player with a lot of text at once. Remember that players who require subtitles will have additional information to read. Ensure that text appears on screen for enough time. And provide a setting that allows the player to adjust the length of how long the text remains on screen, or gives them the opportunity to advance through manually. Provide the player with an area where they can review the instructional text. This could be perhaps within the pause screen area. Remember, some players might be returning to the game after a couple of months. If an item hasn't been used in a while, it can be hard to remember what it does or how to use it. Error messages. Errors happen, but the goal is to quickly resolve the issue without friction. Explain the issue in a clear and simple way. Remember, not every player will have a good understanding of technical or development terms. Also, there may be first-party considerations. The message should provide the player with a solution on how to resolve the issue. Write the message in a natural, friendly voice, and don't blame the player or make them feel bad. Errors can be frustrating, so players may not always be receptive to jokes. Settings. Provide clear names for settings. Include description of what the setting does and how it will change the player's experience. Consider adding videos or images demonstrating the changes if the player applies the settings. This won't be applicable for every setting, but it is useful for HUD settings, graphics, subtitles, and font and icon scaling. By adding this, players are able to confirm their setup without having to back out of the menu and check in the game world. This will provide the player with a smoother onboarding experience. Button prompts and labels. Ensure button prompts and labels are short and concise. Consider that prompts may take up more space if a player has increased the text or icon size. Use verbs to describe what the player can do, and make sure the button prompt terminology is consistent across the game. Final thoughts. All the resources discussed today can be found in the GAconf Discord chat. Remember, even the best written content benefits from a fresh set of eyes. Always have your work proofread to ensure clarity and consistency. Great UX writing in your game will create a seamless and effortless experience for your players. By reducing cognitive load, you allow your audience to focus on what matters the most, enjoying the game and feeling immersed in the world. Accessibility options benefits everyone. By designing with accessibility in mind, you not only ensure inclusion for players with specific needs, but also deliver a versatile and more enjoyable experience for all. Thank you for attending today's session. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or would like to discuss this topic in more details. Cheers!